Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the digital systems and the digital computers. Let us first define what is a digital system. A digital system is a system that refers to the elements such as hardware, software and networks and their use. That means it is a collection of hardware, software and networks and how they are used for various applications that together forms the digital system. And we know that the hardware consists of all the electronic components and the electromechanical devices that comprises the physical entity of the device. That means whatever the components we can touch and we can feel tangible, so they are called as an hardware of the system. So the mouse, the keyboard and the screen and the printer, so those things which can be touched and the components are called as an hardware of the system. And the software are the instructions and the data that the computer manipulates to perform various data processing tasks. So we can say that in general, software or the projects or the programs are collection of programs to perform any manipulation for the various data processing tasks. So what are the instruction given by the user, it is given through the software, which is the high level programming language, and this software helps to activate the hardware. There may be many different components that make up one system. For example, a computer has a central processing unit, a hard disk, keyboard, mouse and a screen. So when you say a system, the system may consist of different components. And for an example, to say a computer system, it consists of a component such as central processing unit, a CPU, a hard disk, a keyboard, the mouse and a screen. A peripheral device is a digital component that can be connected to a digital system. For example, a digital camera or a printer. So here, when any component is connected to the digitally, it is connected to the device. The device is called as a peripheral device. Let us see the definition of digital computer. A digital computer can be considered as a digital system that performs various computational tasks. So what does the difference between digital systems and digital computer means? Digital computer performs only the computational task. It's a digital system that does only the computational task. It is called as a digital computers. The first electronic digital computer was developed in late 1940s and was primarily used for numerical computations. By convention, the digital computers use the binary number system, which has two digits 0 and 1. A binary digit is called a bit. A computer system is subdivided into two functional entities, hardware and software. Let us see the block diagram of the computer. So to say the major three components, input, processing and output. So input are various devices. You have like a mouse, a keyboard, joystick, all those things are the input devices. The input is caught by the input device and it is passed through the communication channel to the different parts of the system, the memory. So whatever the input is received is stored in the memory of the system, and this arithmetical and the logical unit take the data from the memory unit and process the any operation that is meant for to process. So here, and after processing, it has to convey the output to the user. So that is done by the output devices, maybe the printer or the monitor screen and so on. So basically we have three components: input, processing and output. And in the processing unit we have three different subunits: control unit, arithmetic logical unit and memory unit. In the input devices, all the data received by the computer goes through the input unit. An input unit comprises of various devices such as the mouse, a keyboard, the scanner, etc. The three major functions of the input unit are: take the data to be processed by the user, convert the given data into the machine readable form, and then finally transmit the converted data into the main memory of the computer. And in addition, it also does the communication, it creates a communication between the different components. So examples of various input devices are the mouse, the keyboard, the scanner, microphone, light pen, joystick, then OCR, trackball, and the barcode scanner. Let us see the CPU, Central Processing Unit. Central Processing Unit or the CPU is the brain of the computer. It controls all the human activities. As the brain controls all the human activities, the CPU controls all the activities of the system. Moreover, the CPU conducts all the arithmetic and the logical operations in the computer. CPU comprises of two units, namely ALU, Arithmetic Logical Unit, and Control Unit. Both of these units work in synchronization. The CPU processes the data as a whole. So now here, the Arithmetical Logical Unit. So as the name implies, it has two components, arithmetic and the logical units. The arithmetic component of this ALU does all the arithmetic operations that is to be done. Data inserted through the input unit is into the primary memory and it performs the basic arithmetical operations on it, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It performs all sorts of calculations required on the data and then sends the data back to the storage. The unit is also responsible for performing the logical operations such as and, or, not, equal to, and all the comparative operations. In addition to this, it conducts merging, sorting, and selection of the given data. So here we are supposed to arrange the data and we have to combine two different set of data that are all done by the sorting and the merging of the data, given data. So these operations are done by the arithmetic logical unit. And then the control unit. So the control unit, as the name suggests, is the controller of all the activities, tasks, and the operations. All this is performed inside the computer and the control signals are passed in between the different components of the system. The memory unit sends a set of instructions to the control unit. Then the control unit in turn converts those instructions and those instructions are executed and those instructions are converted into control signals. These control signals help in prioritizing and scheduling the activities. These are all the work done by the control unit. So this arithmetic logical unit ALU consists of the control unit, arithmetic unit, logical unit, as well as the memory unit. Thus the control unit coordinates the task inside the computer in synchronization with the input and the output units. The memory unit, all the data that has to be processed or has been processed is stored in the memory unit. The memory unit acts as a hub of all the data. It transmits it to the required part of the computer whenever necessary. So this is the storage where all the data has been stored. The memory unit works in synchronization with the CPU. This helps in faster accessing and processing of the data, thus making the task easier and faster. So here, these control signals passes the signal whether to fetch the data or to read the data or write the data. So accordingly, the data will be read from or returned to the memory unit. There are two types of computer memory. Primary memory. This type of memory cannot store a vast amount of data. Therefore, it is only used to store the recent data. The data stored in this is temporary. It can get erased once the power is switched off. Therefore, it is called as temporary memory or a main memory. And next is the RAM, which is random access memory. Is an example of primary memory, and this memory is directly accessible by the CPU. It is used for reading and writing purposes. For data to be processed, it has to be first transferred to the RAM and then to the CPU, because CPU can access only the RAM memory. Secondary memory, as explained above, the primary memory stores the temporary data, thus it cannot be accessed in the future. So in order to get the data for the future, we are supposed to store the data in the permanent storage. So for that we are using the secondary memory. It is also called as permanent memory or the auxiliary memory. The hard disk is an example of secondary memory. Even if the power failure happens, the data does not get erased easily. So this is the picture of the CPU where we have the components. There are many components in a system where the CPU is focused. In the output device, all the information sent to the computer once processed is received by the user through the output unit. So this output unit conveys the message to the user. The devices like printers, monitors, projectors are all examples of the output unit. The output unit displays the data either in the form of a soft copy or a hard copy. So either you can get the printout of the information or you can get the soft copy on the screen itself. The printer is the example of hard copy and the monitor is the soft copy, and the monitor is the device for displaying the soft copy. The output unit accepts the data in binary form from the computer. It then converts into readable form by the user. So some examples of output devices are the speaker, the printer, the monitor, headphones and the LCD. So these devices helps to display the output on the screen so that the user can see that or to hear the outputs. So that's all the basic components of computers. Hope it is easy to follow and thanks for watching.